Next, I'll be announcing the Central Office Leader Award for the metro area. And that person is Tim Wald, Assistant Superintendent for the White Bear Lake Area Schools. And the script says, say some nice things about Tim Wald, and I can't think of anything. So to be fair, Tim served as a high school principal when I first took on a middle school principalship, and I had the privilege of being mentored as a secondary principal from Tim. And since that time, almost 15 years ago, I've had the chance to see him work his way through. Tim has served as an assistant superintendent for operations and finance in the White Bear Lake area of schools. Prior to that current role, he was principal and assistant principal in White Bear Lake. He's also been the dean of students for Northdale Middle Schools in the Anoka-Hennepin School District, and began his education career as a social studies teacher at St. Odelia School in Shoreview. During his first year in White Bear Lake in this current role, he contributed to an effort that delivered an 80% yes vote on the district's 2017 operating levy renewal. Throughout this process, Tim's presented at meetings across the district and delivered constant communication to provide the information necessary to the community. The following year, Tim assisted in the creation of a district strategic plan. This planning process ultimately engaged more than 1,000 stakeholders, and the leadership team created a plan that's an aspirational and catalyzing positive change for students and student learning in the district. It is my privilege to introduce Tim Wald, Central Office Administrator of the Year for the Metro. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. Thank you, David. Yeah, like David mentioned, when he started in White Bear Lake, I was his mentor for about 8 minutes before I started learning a lot more from David than I was able to teach him. So, but to have this presented by you, David, means a great deal to me. You're a person I admire so much in this business, and to be nominated by Dr. Wayne Kazmerchek, a guy I had the pleasure of working with very closely each day, means a great deal as well. Wayne's put together, he said yesterday, an amazing team in White Bear Lake, and we have a lot of fun together. We work well. We've done a lot of courageous work together. So thank you also to the amazing cabinet from White Bear Lake. I also want to acknowledge my wife, who's an outstanding middle school special education teacher, and definitely keeps it real for me every day when we start getting a little too far away from the classroom. So thank you to Terry, my wife. And then my 3 sons, who had to survive with their dad as their high school principal. And somehow we got through it, and we still like each other. So thank you to my boys. Each day I feel blessed to work as an educator, and though my work now is further from the classroom than in the past, like all of you, I'm committed to keeping the student experience at the center of our work. This commitment's never been more challenging, and for sure it's never been more important than it is today, when so many students are trying to figure out how to succeed in school and life during this pandemic, trying to find a sense of normalcy, knowing that normalcy has changed for them. One of the great aspects of working in education is that you get to work with great people, inspiring and brilliant people every day. And for that, I'm so grateful. I've had many people in my career that I've learned from and consider mentors. I've worked with 3 talented superintendents. Dr. Ted Blazing, who was a former Minnesota Superintendent of the Year. He led our district through a challenging funding era for public schools, and he was so admired in our community and among our staff. Dr. Michael Lovett, whose understanding of strategic communication, commitment to our students, and whose presence in the community was truly outstanding. And most recently, Dr. Wayne Kazmerchek, who's a courageous leader. He's strategic, and as we continue to take on the complicated work, we're required to fulfill a very aspirational strategic plan. I also would want to acknowledge Dr. Jill Thielen. Jill is a lifelong White Bear Lake educator and administrator who's been my closest mentor for decades. Jill's retired. Some of you likely remember her. I know Dr. Henton does, but she's still a voice I turn to often when I need a trusted and insightful voice of a mentor. As public school administrators, we have complex jobs, and identifying trusted mentors and colleagues is critically important. Again, thank you to MASA for this recognition. Thank you to all of you who advocate for public education, make a difference for your students and your communities every day. Kids need us to be at our best and our most courageous now more than ever. Thank you.